I'm not good with computers, so
That's fine. You're good with GA.
okay. So I just made some login test changes. So the good thing is inside of GA4 now, guys, we can actually see the test event. So let me get rid of this and show you guys the test login. So test login is firing. Test login is an event that I went and created just so we could cover getting test data into the system and being able to quickly differentiate it from an actual login. The problem was that our login was firing and continues to fire multiple times. Now the test login is firing 3 times. I'll investigate that a little bit later, but for now, this login event firing 6 times, 7, 8, and then some more here. This is causing some real issues. So what I ended up doing to make my first round of fixes, oops, wasn't that. And now I gotta update this container whenever they ask me to. But the change I made was this. So I can put inside of the data layer the visitor login state, and I could remove the GA4 event. So there's a GA4 event here. I don't want you guys to see, and it was firing.
So the
Uh,
login even gets triggered when someone clicks on the login button on the homepage.
yes, so I got rid of that because we had a really flimsy trigger. And so the crazy thing is I was organizing my screen shares the other day and I looked in and I saw where you and I had spoke and I had this in place,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
There's no reason to have this firing at this point. So we paused it.
Hmm.
And so now this is paused. Okay, there's my login. So that's going to be active now. Okay. So this should be paused. Yep. There we go. So my main thing was how do I reduce that amount? And so we were able to do that. The other thing we were able to do is add the test login. This is based on the debug mode, which is going to be a value of 1. So I did that inside of the configuration tag. The other cool thing that I was able to do through connecting that was I added it to its own personal data stream. So test GA4 is a data stream along with an ID that's only set up for test transactions. So any kind of test transaction or event or conversion that we want to experiment with, we can send it away from our main data stream and into a test data stream. So I thought that was a good idea. Um, and it looks like this on the back end. So this is where it lives. And I created a variable for it. And then based on this debug mode coming in as a parameter, it will, if its value is 1, which is equivalent to saying true, then it will fire this configuration as opposed to the other. Okay, cool. Any questions?
So what is the testing strategy for this? Like, how do we test it on the main side? Do we have to push, like, or push all the triggers?
So what I've been doing is this, Nikita, good question. Um, how does this thing work, AKA? No, I'm just playing. Really what you do is you click preview, you're going to get a staging environment, you connect the
Mhm.
staging environment, and then you're going to be able to walk through this. Usually there's a password box that pops up, but I've already entered it right before our call. And then you just walk through this. This scroll event is going to track over here in Tag Manager. See, scroll depth. For some reason, there's a form submit event that is pushing through, and AdWords homepage lander is firing. This is incorrect. This should not be happening. Okay. So in this testing environment, we get to see things that are broken and things that we want to change. This test login is firing over to Facebook, which is incorrect on the timing because I have not logged into anything yet. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, this data layer push is okay. It's okay to have something here, but it should only be here to collect a um, client ID, this guy.
Mhm.
It should not be here to test login because I didn't even do anything, right? So how do we fix that? That's kind of the next step. I want to clean up the test data. The good thing is, as we've got it implemented in the real site, the live site, it should be clean now that I put the things in place that I have. Okay. So if I click on this, now you're going to see events come through that are related to login, but it takes some time. One
Okay.
second. Yep. That was strange. Hold on. Let's try this again. Yeah, so these are the clicks, clicks, clicks. The actual login has not happened yet because we have not logged in, which is
Mhm.
good. But how do I get rid of the login event that's happening when people just load this page, right? So if I just reload the page and I go back, okay, I see test, and I see some other stuff happening. So at least we're not seeing the login event just on a page load right now,
Mhm.
right? This is a this is because of what we just pushed forward inside of GTM, what I just made live. So it's already taken hold. Now I need to clean up this part, test login part.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. And I can do that. I'll poke around and figure out that part. But the good thing is this test login, it's a non-factor, and the reasoning behind it is it's going to an entirely different data stream, and it's only existing inside of the test environment as well. So we're at least it's not going to dirty up our good data right now. Okay,
Mhm.
you can see that at any given time. Just so you guys know how to use this, you can go to debug view and just kind of watch the events come in, and you can investigate them, like where are they coming from? Is it in debug mode? Is it from a certain event ID? Um, my app does that. I'm sorry. It shows you the page title, so it shows you the page refer. So I should be able to put a blocker um, up inside of my data set that says https tag assistant.google.com. Any time that this is the page refer, then this data should not be collected with our production data, right? And that's easy to do.
Looks like you've
Okay.
got it working. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking a lot. So it is, do I sound crazy? Okay, cool. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to work with you. I think you got the login event in. My job is to get it cleaned up, and there's more data that I can pass through to it. And so hopefully I'm going to wait on your cue, and thank you for leading the charge and getting this into the secure area. Right now, we have a secure container, and all I did was import the current production container into a brand new place.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I've made all these tweaks on the login and how it works, I
Mm-hmm.
need to take that and drop that back over.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem with doing it this way is if we drastically change how things work with the login event or user ID on the production environment, then I have to always import that same environment into the secure container. So maybe I'd have to be on a schedule to do it every, month or so. Hopefully we're not touching the login event a whole bunch once we get it dialed in.
So, like in the first data layer push calls, like you asked me to add a login event to some of the URLs, but we didn't do that, right? Because the data you've been like working on the data layer push and it's already fixed. So, is that part still like pending, or do we? So we don't do we not have to do that? I can share that link with you.
Yeah, please do.
Test
Is
one.
it the one that's the pixel paste bin? Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you brought this up. What I want to do at paste bin, let me go ahead and share my screen again.
Mm-hmm.
Amit, are you good? Let me know.
All good.
We, okay, cool. Um, this visitor login state, I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to pull this. I can use this inside of GTM. So what I ended up doing before the call is there is a login for where's this thing at? Hold on. No, it's not here. Where does this thing exist? Oh, it's in the configuration trigger. I'm tripping. I forget that it's a data layer push, so it would only be here. Okay, so this visitor login state, I can pull that as a data layer variable. And so what's going to end up happening is that's going to be a part of that data layer push as well. And then we can always know, since that push is going to happen upon a container loading, I'll be able to know if the visitor is a person who has logged in the last 90 days or if they haven't before they even click the login button,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of cool because then in theory, I could show them a certain site depending on their status, along with other information that we'll gather about that person, right?
Okay. So when's the right time to do that part, like from Pastebin, like adding it to the URLs that we want, or is it already on GA?
E-
I mean, the link
what
that
what do
I
you?
just shared. Do
Yes.
we
What do you
still
want to
have
add?
to add it? Oh, so I was like in the during our initial calls, like you asked me to add these to like let's say home page or on the login page or secure page, but we haven't done that part yet, right? Or is it like still in the action items, or do we not have to like do
Oh,
any of
so
it?
you never dropped this
No, 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 I
into
did not.
the page.
No, no, I did not.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
crap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's already a data layer. Um, I want to add a couple of things to the data layer. That'd be great
Mm-hmm.
if we could add
Mm-hmm.
this visitor login state. That'd
Mm-hmm.
be awesome. We already have the ability to call and create events, so I'm not worried about that. And then user ID, that's obviously a piece as well that seems to be working. Except for it's called client ID, right? So that's tomato. I can just pull this. I'll drop it in GA4, create a
So my
custom
question
dimension
is
called
like on
CRM ID.
okay, my question is on like on what pages do I have to add this data layer push like
Oh, I'm
inside of
sorry.
GA?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to add the data layer push anywhere except for on the JustWorks site. So where you want to add it is on this page so that we can see this event. If someone logs in successfully from here,
Oh, on the
then
secure.justworks.com page. This one.
what's that?
You mean you're asking me to add the data layer push to this page, right? The one that you're currently sharing?
Yes,
Okay. But is this a part of uh, www.justworks.com container, or is this a part of the secured part, the new container that you created?
this is the new container because it's secure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we need to make sure that that container's inside of here. I don't even know if it is, if I'm being honest. I don't know if it's live yet.
Oh, I think, but for this, like, we will have to, like, I think someone from the secure team has to do the configuration only, then we will be able to add my part of it, right?
Yeah,
Because I don't
that,
think they have the configuration set on their end, like on the back end, they don't have any connections to the Google Tag Manager. So once they do that, I mean, you created a new container for secure.justworks.com. So
that's
someone from the
correct.
engineering team has to do the configuration on their end. Only
That's
then I'll
correct.
be able to add the data layer push to it, right? The
Yeah,
order.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there's no pressure to. I just, I'm just glad that we found an in. I've had a really hard time figuring out how to do this and get the CRM data in. So,
Mhm.
once we're able to connect to the CRM through a data layer push and pull certain information, if that's the route we're going, hopefully we'll be able to pull revenue data based on the CRM ID that we're pulling for that person, if we can. If we can't, then I'll have to go back to the drawing board and figure out a route that works.
Okay. Is the
Yeah.
configuration already done on their end from the secure?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same exact container.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to up update it to the version with the login tweaks that I just made.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
So I
I'll
can
go
do that
into
right now in the
Google Tag
background.
Manager. Okay. So my part is to go into Google Tag Manager and the new container that you created and add that paste bin part of code to the secure page inside GTM.
No, it's not inside of GTM. It's inside of the actual website. So you add the
Mhm.
data layer the same place that you add the GTM container code. So it's on the source code.
Oh, but that's from the secured part, right? We don't have access to the secured part of the code. We handle only the
I don't
marketing side.
either.
Mhm.
Yeah. But hopefully we can find somebody who does. And all
Yeah,
I
I think
need
like
them
we
to
already
do
have like
is
Amanda, Anthony, like she said like some their team is ready to do that. So
I'm
the
not
data
sure.
layer.
Do you want me to reach out to them and try to see?
No, I think we already like reached out to Amanda and she said like when we are ready to do the configuration, someone from their team is ready to like add the data layer
Okay.
push.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, sure. Then
You
maybe
can
like
give
I'll
them,
send the pastebin link to her and ask them to finish the configuration on their end on the secure.justworks.com login page.
yes, but you have to be specific on where you tell them to place it. So you want the data layer push to be above the GTM code.
Above
The
GTM. Okay.
the person who implemented it previously was Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you got instructions from him and then just passed it along, this is exactly where I need you to put this. That's important as well, right?
Okay. But I don't think Chris also had access to the secured part of the source code.
No, he doesn't either. But I
Yeah.
was just using him as an example of someone who implemented
Mm-hmm.
the fix
Mm-hmm.
already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like I can reach out to Amanda asking her to like uh, add the GTM configuration and add the data layer push above the GTM on the secure login page.
Okay. You want me to do that?
Sure. Like, are you on the same Slack channel where
As
Amanda is?
Amanda, yeah, I'll reach out
Uh-huh.
to Amanda and tell her uh what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then yeah, and then we'll go from there. If
Okay,
that's all
that
we
would be
need
good.
is the code added, then yeah, I can reach out to
Yeah.
her real
Yeah,
quick.
that code is on the secure part, which marketing has no access to.
Okay, got it. Is she like the security person we're reaching out to moving forward? Like if we have anything with the secure site that we need to do, is she usually like the point of contact?
Yeah, her
Oh, okay.
team owns Secure.
Oh, well, shit. I didn't know that. I should know that. Sorry.
Sorry, her team is taking over Secure, at least like
Got it.
/go and /login, because she's
Oh,
focusing
okay.
on the growth team
That's why
focuses.
she first reached me, because of the bot attack. Holy crap. Duh. All right, cool.
Mhm.
My bad.
Nothing to apologize for.
Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I'm brilliant, but sometimes I just, oh man, damn, I fumbled that.
It's fine.
And then sorry, just because I was rereading my notes, Jordan, yesterday, and they weren't super logical, or coherent is going to be my word of choice. But the data layer, right?
Yeah.
We use the data layer to track the login event, right? And that is what tells us if someone is registered or not registered.
Yeah, essentially. And so the reason that I wanted to set it up that way is so that we can look at the last online session that that user ID had. And we can see what that last action was before someone got them on the phone and sold them something, right? At some point, if we get enough data, we'll be able to say, okay, when people read this blog post as a last touch, it usually goes really well, right? And then that blog post would have a dollar amount attached to it through data driven marketing attribution, which is what GA4 is built on. So it'll give you a value to like the point, I guess that's like the 100th or some shit, but it gives you like fractional conversion value, which is really dope.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, I hope I answered that. But the data layer also, it allows you to capture things, micro data that is available from that user, from maybe it's a cookie, maybe it's that site, maybe it's a ton of different things that are happening. And you can attach different events to that. So then I can use that as a trigger for a tag to fire. So it's just one domino in front of the other, and you can get really granular on how many dominoes you want placed in between that funnel just to be that certain of an outcome, right? So the cool thing is, right now, as we stand, it feels like people are looking into Salesforce and they're saying, hey, this type of person, we're reaching this type of guy or gal, and they are converting and they're buying this type of plan. And that's all happening inside of Salesforce. It feels like most of what we want to do is to get everybody over to one centralized platform, GA4, which GA4 will be the central hub and GDS will be the dashboard that everybody can look at and see at a glance every single KPI that's important to different departments. But while we're trying to get into that mode, we have an opportunity to do a better job at understanding the customer journey than Salesforce does. All we got to do is beat Salesforce. That's really the honest truth of it. If I can present to you 20 different things that a customer did versus 3 different things a customer did, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Okay.
So the hardest part of this, Amit, at this point is getting that CRM data in. We just got this event figured out, which is a huge victory for us all. Spoke with Julie. She was super impressed and happy about this. and then I'm speaking to Amanda next week, but we'll well, today actually, and next week.
And then, sorry, one other question that's similar but on a different note. Are we able to track, like, when someone first lands on our page, are we able to track if they have logged in or not, and then accordingly display a new page?
Yes. So once a person uses that login event, that will follow them around for the rest of their life on JustWorks website. Because every single time they show back up, as long as it's within a 90-day period, I guess, they will have that visitor status data layer push element available, and it'll show either logged in or logged out as their current state. But we'll know if they've ever logged in or logged out also on top of that. So,
and then, yeah, sorry, the working session, there's an HR stakeholder who I pulled a GA report, but she wants a little bit more clarification. So I'm hoping you can talk through it. It's just about how outbound clicks work and how that's tracked.
okay.
And then, yeah, we'll just, I'm going to use that.
Is she looking at the data through UA or GA4? Do you know?
GA4.
Okay, cool. I can get that figured out.
And I can even just save some time. I'll quickly go ahead and just share my screen. So just for context as well. So can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So she wanted to track, like, just how many people had, clicked on some of the links from all of our various careers cards. So I switched the event to be outbound click for this page. But the question that she has a few, like, additional questions about, like, what exactly outbound clicks fully track. If that's just like you clicked on this link that took you to the greenhouse careers page, or if it's just any of our links that kind of lead out. So
yeah, it's any event, anything. Yeah. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to use it as a metric. I mean, it's there, but it's no different than click. So if someone clicked in UA, then I would track it. But with outbound click, if you go to the debug view, you can see that there's different parameters that I can add to that outbound click. So it's no different than file download. If there's a file download anywhere on the site, a PDF's downloaded, I also have it set so automatically a file name is attached to that event. I can do the same thing with an outbound click. So we can see where that outbound click is going and why and how. But we would have to build an entirely different report that I don't know how to do yet, but I can figure it out.
You can always figure it out, Jordan. You're the best. But I have to hop to a different meeting, but I'll catch you in a couple of hours. So,
cool.
Thank you. Appreciate this.